November 19th, 2006, 5:45 a.m. was the day I bought myself the Nintendo Wii. It was also the closest thing to a midnight release I have been to. Would you believe I couldn't go to any for the sake of my parents? Maybe someday. Wii Sports was the game that everyone who had owned the Wii that day probably have played this game. It is currently ranked as the second most selling video game of all time, over 82 million copies sold. Well, yeah, that was mainly due to the fact that it was bundled with the Wii, which means the Wii had over 82 million copies sold. It felt like Christmas morning. I went back home, I hooked up the Wii, I played an hour of Wii Sports, and I sort of dropped it and popped in Twilight Princess. There wasn't anything wrong with it, but the amount of content was short-lived. I played it a couple times back then, but let's see how this game plays today, over 8 years later. Booting up the game from the new menu only to remember the warning message that showed up every time you started up a new Wii game. And may I ask, what did those guys do in order to break the Wii remote's wrist strap? The last time I checked, you're supposed to be playing the game while holding the controller, not waggling it around in hopes it would snap. Oh yeah, the controller. The Wii had a big emphasis on motion controls. The 7th generation tried to have a competition since the Wii did so well. I only had a problem with the added peripherals. We needed a sensor bar and batteries for the main controller. As for the button layout, it's just fine. Plays similarly to an NES controller. Because there are only 5 games in Wii Sports, there really isn't much to talk about. I will say, however, that Wii Sports was entitled to be the game not only gamers can enjoy, but it's also good for a family as well. I will try to explain as much as I can with each sport, starting with tennis, the most physically demanding sport while being the most accessible. If you are playing against someone, swinging the Wii Remote simultaneously controls both players of your team. There isn't one-to-one on the motion controls here. All it takes to win is to painstakingly swing as much as you can and you will eventually win. Though there are times where the angle of the racket does affect the ball. This one was the most fun for me, probably because it actually felt like the closest thing to a sport. Baseball. Not a whole lot is happening in this game. The batter swings the bat and that's about it. There's really not much the batter has to do. You can't do anything when even running. There's not much visual flair, there's not much activity going on. The pitchers surprisingly do more work considering you can throw in different angles. At the very least, it's amusing to watch the many me's participating or watching the field catch the ball.
And upside down man hits the ball. Let's see if the fielders can actually catch it. Oh, the ball is far away. He could get a double. Let's see if this player gets it. Oh, he dropped it, and now amazing. It's a triple run. Way to go, upside down man.
Next up, bowling. I think this is considered as the most popular sport in the game. You can fill up each game with other players, and it does help interaction. I've been to many bowling games, so having replays of each throw is always nice to see, though I hope I wasn't the only one who had a similar matter. After playing so many games of Wii Sports Bowling, I would assume that I would be good with bowling in real life. Then when spending so much time on a real bowling game, I suck utter crap at it. With that said, don't expect yourself to be an absolute pro at sports after playing this. Golf. This is where the graphics shine the most. It's no miniature golf, but each of the 9 courses do have their own unique structures, so certain obstacles like bunkers and rivers can still make each game just as enjoyable. You want to make sure to hit the ball on the correct mark according to the meter on the right. You can adjust the distance based on what golf club you're using while taking notice on the wind direction. If it's not the intense matches you get from tennis, the next best thing for me is relaxing on each golf course. Finally, boxing. I guess you can call this the precursor to Punch-Out for Wii. It's as simple as it sounds. You punch with one arm, you punch on necks, you occasionally dodge some blows against a very hairy Glass Joe. However, with the controls being more involved in this game, the one-to-one on the motion controls, again, doesn't feel that fluid. I would consider boxing and baseball to be the weakest of the 5 sports, if not only because they are the least accessible, but also because you can only have up to 2 players, effectively making it less interaction on a family game. Wii Sports also has a pretty cool trading system with more challenges like hitting targets or bowling over 50 pins, oh Jesus. Wii Sports, for what it did as a family system seller and the use of motion controls, is not half bad. However, people would consider this to be a tech demo if anything else. At least Nintendo would like to solve some of these problems with Wii Sports Club, a port of Wii Sports on the Nintendo Wii U. It is also a free-to-play game, which means you can download this game right now, but have to pay for each game separate. Wii Sports Club made some changes to help out with the original. Firstly, the game does have a 24-hour trial so you can get a feel for how the game plays. Why though? Well, Nintendo's new Motion Plus controller is added to the old sports, so the one-to-one I mentioned previously is completely fixated here. Lastly, this game does have online if you want to play with others. All of this is fine, but Nintendo may have lost it at this point. Was Wii Sports really that much of a success to already get an HD release? Wii Sports Club was released in America in 2013, the same year the Wii U struggled to meeting any sales. Chances are if the Wii U didn't get much sales, consumer might have not looked into the Wii Sports Club. In fact, the whole premise of this being Wii Sports seems like missed potential for reasons I'll get into for a later review. I guess if you haven't played the original Wii Sports yet, the HD release is good enough as a trial or to download games that you actually wanted to play. With all that said about Wii Sports and Wii Sports Club, thank you guys for watching, and next time we meet, we'll be looking at Wii Play for the Nintendo Wii. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all whenever. Take care.